From the very moment it was announced, the Robin Hood show made for Canadian television sounded like it was going to be an absolute disaster. Because once again, in the modern entertainment industry, they're proving that there's no original ideas. Instead, all they can do is take something that's been done before, take something that people care about, a name, a franchise, something like that, and bastardize it, all in the name of making it for a modern audience. In this case, taking the legend of Robin Hood, which has been told multiple times over the centuries in different ways, including even some for modern audiences. But this time, we're going to do a race swap, a gender swap, and also we might as well make her bisexual too. Black female bisexual Robin Hood, where every single protagonist is a person of color and every single villain just happens to be white. Weird how that works, isn't it? But hey, who knows? Maybe it could have been a smash hit. Maybe it could have been done just incredibly well. But that wasn't the case. In fact, it was received very poorly. And before anyone had even talked about these ratings, before anybody even said, wow, this thing's getting blasted, Director X, the creator of this thing, decided to come out there and say, it's just a review bombing. It's just people who are racially motivated review bombing this show. That certainly didn't help him out too much, did it? Because now that more eyes are on this show, now that more people have been alerted to it because of him going out there and just saying, racists are review bombing this, things have gotten significantly worse. And in fact, Robin Hood is now a record-breaking show. We can say that without a shadow of a doubt, because it now holds the record for the worst reviewed show in history. It is sitting there on IMDb at a 1.0 out of 10. That's right. Not even a 1.1. We've actually seen a 1.0. I didn't know if this was physically possible, mathematically possible on IMDb, but apparently it is. Robin Hood, the Canadian television series that debuted in 2023, is a 1.0 out of 10. And don't worry, we're going to look at some of these reviews because, you know, Director X says it's all just fake, it's all just a review bomb, and it's people not actually just watching the show. This isn't their real opinions. This is the same guy, by the way, who pretty disingenuously said, well, if people are claiming that they used a VPN to watch this in other countries, they're just crazy. How could anybody possibly believe that? The guy who I exposed as 6 days prior had actually told people if they weren't in Canada to use a VPN to watch it. And what was his response to that? Okay, bud, it's an obvious bombing, even if these peoples actually watched the show. So this is, you got to get in his mind. This is what he thinks. Even if someone watched the show and they give it a 1 because they didn't like it, that's a bombing to him. So apparently, it's the old adage, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. That might be what he defines as a review bombing. But I just wanted to check, because obviously IMDb, I've never left a review on IMDb. I don't even think I have an IMDb account, so I wouldn't know. But apparently, according to him, it's just all these racists that are out there review bombing this because it's got black people in it. I decided we might as well look up a couple other movies that have predominantly black cast to see those racists must be out there in droves too. Black Panther. Oh man, this is weird. 7.3 out of 10. Oh, well, they must have missed that one. That one must have flown under the radar. What about Black Panther Wakanda Forever? 6.7. Not as high as the first one, but certainly not a bad score. What about Nope? I decided to even get the breakdowns. Another 6.8. Look at all this. This is what a normal show kind of looks like that is kind of okay. People like it. You know, it's a smattering of 10s and 9s and 8s and 7s. Then you kind of see that maximized somewhere in the realm where we end up getting the average. A lot of 7s and 8s for something like Nope. What about Us? What about Us? Again, a lot of 8s and 7s and some 6s for that, and a 6.8 total. Robin Hood? Can't say the same thing, can we? When we look at Robin Hood, there's some 10s out there. Keep in mind, you want to talk about fake scores of review bombing. I saw on Director X's Instagram comments some people going over and saying they were going to give it a perfect score to combat the review bombing. Weird. It means there's fake 10 stars, isn't it? That's a lot of fucking 1s. But you know what? Why don't we look through some of these reviews? And you guys can tell me if you think this is from people that didn't watch a show or they're just faking a score. Because to me, it actually looks like all of these people that we have text reviews for did watch the show and despised it. Horrible, 1 out of 10. Who writes this crap? The show's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The music is awful. The whole premise is nonsensical. Robyn is a criminal in this, not a person fighting for the people. They commit crimes. Trespass, trying to rob, destroying police property, etc. It'd be a comedy more than anything. If you want a good laugh, watch this show. The fact they would shoot a video on private property, then get upset when one of them gets arrested for committing it, just laughable. That's what happened in the first episode, by the way. Another 1-star, tax write-off gone wrong. Okay, this clearly was never meant to make it to air. The script is awful, plain right awful. I've seen adult videos with better scripts, production, plot, and acting. Characters spew their dialogue and the script is so clipped, it's like the actors just wait for other characters to finish talking before saying their line. It's a notch above a school play, but with a worse script. Makes zero effort to endear any of the characters to you. The main bad guy has more endearing qualities than the protagonist, all of whom are just portrayed as narcissistic, petty criminals. 1, garbage. Can't make up my mind if it's the low budget or storyline that's the worst thing about this, but it was just unbearable. I have and do watch a fair few low budget B movies, and I generally persist, but it's a rare thing that I give up. I couldn't get through the first episode. It's just awful. Long line of activist style programming that puts activism before good storylines. I want my 30 minutes back. Are we starting to see a pattern? We're seeing people who gave a pretty good effort to give their thoughts on the show. They thought it was horrible. They thought it was one of the worst things they've ever seen. They're describing plot details for this show. Yet we consistently hear the excuse that it must just be review bombing. We can continue to go down and down and down. Like, I don't see any that are just like, wow, a lot of black people, 1 out of 10. I haven't seen any like that. That's very, very strange. Really, really, really bad. This is bad. Even if you get past the bad acting, bad script, bad camera work, bad production, you're ultimately left with a terrible iteration of Robyn Hood that ignores the original story. These people are criminals, straight up stealing from businesses for themselves. Here's a lesson. They said Robyn Hood steals from the rich and gives to the poor, but that's not quite right. Robyn stole from the government. Very correct. People tend to miss that. He stole back taxes and he spread it among the peasants. He didn't go raid the local vendor stalls. If they labeled it as a parody, it could get a 2 out of 10 at best. This is maybe my favorite one. Director X, when I say you made this worse for yourself, this is what I'm talking about. You decided to make a fuss on social media and blame racism, blah, 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 all this stuff. Look at this person. Okay, I saw a fuss on social media about this, and I have 2 teenage daughters whom this program is presumably the prime target demographic. I thought we should watch it and see if it was, as claimed by the director, being review bombed. I'm afraid to say the first episode, and in fact, the whole premise is way worse than I was expecting. If I was given this episode blind and asked to identify who made it, I would have said a bunch of school drama / film students. It's an abomination in terms of writing and acting, even if Robyn is good on the eye. After 30 minutes, my 14 and 16-year-olds decided that homework was preferable and to watch something this bad. Unfortunately, I stuck it out to the very end. This is an evisceration of the show by somebody who was willing to give it a chance. Somebody who saw a big fuss on social media and someone saying it was being review bombed decided to give it a chance, had their daughters watch it that should have been right around the age to be interested in this. And not only did they hate it, but this person despised everything about it. This is a disaster of epic proportions, and you can complain and say it's being review bombed. You can do all of these things, but when you see these detailed reviews, all of them are kind of like that. When you see these detailed reviews, it's people that gave it a chance and just hated what they saw. Now, you might think that a 1-star is too harsh or that your work is better than that. But at the end of the day, a lot of people have now spoken and given their opinions on this. And it is officially the worst rated show in IMDb history. This thing is a pathetic failure. It looked cringe from the beginning, and then once you actually watch it, it's just as bad as you could possibly expected. And now it's getting mocked and ridiculed by virtually everyone. All the excuses in the world, all the blaming racists in the world isn't going to save this show from embarrassment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.